finally, we're also here to understand what we can do to help these people stay in Lahaina. Some people said it's almost like a orchestrated gentrification, that they're not wanted here anymore, that they're not getting the necessary means to stay and fight and live where they've lived for so long. These people in Lahaina are the simple people. They don't want a 15-minute city. So we need to understand what we need to do as citizens here in America to help these people today. I'm Craig Pasta Jardula. Let's go find out. We can't go into the area. You can see down below over there, we got the National Guard or whoever they are, military to your left. They're not allowing anybody in unless you have a house that's standing. Even the people who lost their houses, they told us yesterday, they're not allowed to go into the zone. So they can't have any closure whatsoever. That's Front Street, right?
Yeah, way down there, this camp right here is called Paunao, okay? And then Front Street is beyond there.
Okay.
Okay. The first fire was at roughly around 6:30. So my tenant works at one of the schools up here. Okay, he's one of the guys that take care of the school. He came down and he told me that, you know, he's seen the fire. I was up since 4 o'clock in the morning, but he's seen what went happen. From what we understand, they said that fire was 100% contained. All of this starts at the top, starts at the county level, starts at the state level.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the guy that resigned for not blowing the siren.
Yeah, the emergency management dude, yeah.
He shouldn't be able to resign.
Yeah.
He should be indicted. That's the most stupidest answer I ever heard. Oh, the siren is only for tsunami. No, it ain't.
Doesn't say that on the website.
Yep. Does it say that on the website?
It says wildfires on the website.
It's basically everything that causes destruction.
Yeah.
From what we know.
Yeah.
On there, you know. And I'm not even the guy that presses that button.
Yeah.
So, you know, for you to say that, you don't belong in that position, you know.
Yeah.
Or you just covering up something, or you're just plain stupid.
Yeah.
On there, you know. But for him to say that, he never do it, blow the siren. All these people died here. For me, he should be indicted too.
Yeah. I've heard so many people say that the policemen failed on that day. Like the firemen, they didn't have water half the time.
Yep. And that was DLNR's fault from what?
Yeah.
From what I know. The police chief he's just coming up with his own shit, man.
Yeah.
That's just it on top there. I don't know where he was or what he was doing, but seems like he was a person that was on island, and since he's the police chief, this is a big catastrophe going on.
Yeah.
He would be in charge.
Yeah.
You know? And basically for me is he should be held accountable for all the people dying.
Yeah.
He's one of those people, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, we're not asking for you resign. We're asking for indictments. You know?
Responsibility.
From what I hear from all my neighbors, they didn't hear sirens. I guess the guy who's in charge of the sounding off the hurricane alert didn't sound it because it's not a hurricane.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking, well, you know, if you sounded it off, I'm thinking people would come out and say what's happening. We keep abreast with what's going on in the world, and I saw it that the governor had spoken to, is it United Nations, that they're thinking Maui is gonna be their first smart city or something like that.
Yeah.
So
that's what you guys are hearing, huh?
yeah.
Well, when I think back about everything that has happened over here, and there's like different scenarios going on, like why didn't the police like let people out, and people are actually literally got burned in their cars. That's all fact now. People know that.
These politicians been lying since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
You know? And basically, the people are tired of it. The people are tired of you politicians trying to run us. We don't work for you. You work for us on here, you know? And now, you guys, no matter what you guys do some kind of criminal stuff, you guys are always getting away with it. Not this time. You guys gonna be held accountable. And this starts all the way from the top, you know? The governor get the nerve to say he wants to buy all these private lands.
Most of us, we want this to stay the way that it was. It was never, this town was never made new, because that's the beauty of Lahaina, is to see the old, mostly old, and just a little bit of new. You know, we like to live the simple, old-fashioned way. We know each other. It's like, oh, I saw fish being sold on the street. You know, if you didn't know, go down, or you know, So that it's just because of how the world is going right now. It just seems like there might be some truth to what we're hearing. And we will, of course, keep fighting, keep on keeping on. But usually, eventually, hopefully this is not our case, the big dogs will always come in. So
they want people to be accountable for the actions that happened here. And you could talk about what happened all day to start this fire. Go ahead, whatever you think. At the end of the day, we do know this for sure. The response, the emergency response, has been crap.
The fire got to our house very, very quickly. When we first saw the fire about two and a half blocks away, and it was on us, you know, literally in minutes. It just kept gobbling houses, and it was just an angry fire, man. It was just...
How many kids were with you that day?
Well, we have 5 kids, and so at the time, one of our kids was at home with us. We were waiting for 2 more kids to arrive, but there was no cell phone communication at that time from Lahaina to Lahaina. What was very odd is we could call the mainland, and the mainland could call us, but we could not call each other. That's another very strange thing. So I'm going to tell you what happened. The fire got to our house. We evacuated with everybody. And I'm going to tell you about how I found my kids. So we evacuated to a home about 2 blocks away. By the time we got there, the fire was there. So we evacuated that house. We went about 1.5 miles away to another home. And we were there for about half hour, and I needed to find 2 of my kids, right? And we couldn't call them, but I knew I could call California. And there was other people who also knew that, because when I got there, I said, I need to find my kids. And they said, hey, I can call the mainland, so you might be able to call the mainland. And I said, this sounds weird, but yeah, and I did. I called the grandparents in California, and I said, hey, I can't seem to call my kids, but if you can call them, let them know we're at the beach house. That's how we refer to this house we were at. And while I was on the phone with Grandma and Grandpa, my kids call. So they can call California too. That's the thing. We couldn't call one another though.
But you can call California. And
yeah.
What kind of training did you guys do in California that wasn't done over here?
Well, okay, I don't know if the training was done here or not. I'm just saying there wasn't anything done that would lead me to believe that there was a training. So when we did evacuations, we went street to street, house to house, and we forced everyone to leave their home. It wasn't an option like, oh, you want to stay? Okay, cool. No. It was like, hey, you got to go. Like, there's no staying here. I'm very sorry. And people would plead with us, no, but it's my house. Oh my gosh, it's my beautiful house. Like, I'm sorry. I can't let you stay. You gotta go.
But you guys would split up territory as the police officers. You go there, you go there.
Hey, you take A Street and take all the houses from Avenue B to Avenue whatever D, and you did cool. Then hey, you take this street and you go from this street to this street. Cool. And everyone communicates, and everyone is you take care of all the streets systematically, so you don't leave anyone in their home. And that, I didn't see any of that happen. And
anybody going around with a megaphone?
I didn't see anyone with a mic. No, please evacuate. There's a fire. Please evacuate. There should have been something done. Someone should have picked up their PA system and just put out the word, hey guys, there's a fire. Please evacuate. You must leave. Because the fire was moving fast. So I would have understood if someone just got on their PA and did it and did not do the door to door. But there should have been an effort made, man.
So before all this happened, there was one bench. You see the bench over there?
Yep.
Every night after work, the 6 or 8 of us who live in this community used to come here and hang out, have some Coors Lights, watch the sunset, and so on. From the day after the fire, that bench evolved into this bench, that food truck, those 20 tents, that 50-foot container, the Tesla solar-powered battery farm, and everything else. So we're on day 28 now. That's what's going on.
What kind of work do you do
did you do before the fires?
I own this surf shop that burned down in the fire.
It burned in the fire.
Completely burned down. I walked down there the next day and saw everything. My shop, surf shop was burned down. That's why I'm here. I don't have work, I don't have a job, so that's why I'm here.
Got it.
And I have received no federal money and FEMA money or anything for my business, and that's fine.
Do you think some of it will eventually come your way, man?
No.
No. You're not counting on it.
Not government money.
Yeah.
Because I didn't own a home. If I owned a home and it was burned down, it'd be $700. Big deal.
Yeah.
I could wipe my ass with $700.
That sucks.
It's all good. We're gonna figure it out. I'm not going anywhere. I'll sleep under this tree right here and camp out and do surf lessons right here. So it's all good.
Gotcha, man.
So I'm gonna walk you guys to the camp and just kind of show you. Okay?
Let's do that.
Okay. So we evolved from one bench to these benches to this food truck. To the medical tent, doctors, nurses, masseuses, to the 50-foot storage container.
Yeah.
Check in. It's early in the morning, so nobody's here, but we have between 200 and 300 families a day checking in here, giving us a list. Pretty sure this is one of the displaced gentlemen. Pretty sure this is one of the displaced gentlemen. So, people check in here, they give us a list, just like a grocery store.
Yeah.
What do you need? Toilet paper, rice, vegetables, Cheetos. We fill their bag. They go. They come back whenever they want.
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah.
200-300 families on day 28.
Somebody told me like they're like we put up I put up a tweet said no questions asked. Locals need help. Come here. Has it been like that? Because I understand like there's a lot of red tape and bureaucracy and bullshit going on with a lot of other.
We haven't got any help.
None of that, huh?
We've gotten a little help, like tiny things. Just private donations to private food donations, ice donations, but not any money donations.
Yeah.
Nobody's giving us any money for this.
Yeah.
Not even $1.
And
That's why we're trying to raise awareness and raise money for this.
Yeah. And the locals can just come anytime, anything they need, you got them.
I mean, whatever we have.
Yeah.
So.
The only thing we don't have are lack of funds. So the government's got all of the funds, but they won't give us anything. They won't promote us in any way. We're outsourcing all 100%. Like Kahana Canoe Club donated this tent. Maui Rents donated this tent. We had another organization donate their tent. So everything's 100% community donations and organized.
Yeah.
So John's on his social media requesting for whatever it is. People are bringing everything in based upon our needs and through social media and just networking, but within our community 100%, which is like,
John and stuff.
yeah, I mean, so every day we've got hot meals coming out at least 3 times a day.
Times a day.
At least 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 4:30.
It smells amazing, and I'm looking at the menu. Pad Thai. Look at this over. Catch that menu over there.
Yeah.
Pad Thai, veggie fried rice, barbecue chicken, red curry chicken.
Yep.
How long in your mind do you think you guys are going to be set up here before you can move on?
As long as our community needs us.
Cool.
As long as our community needs us.
This is the Keiki corner. Keiki means kids, right here.
Keiki, yeah. So Keiki means kids.
How you doing, my friend?
We've got volunteers that are volunteering their time day in, day out. We've got like a little library over here. We actually, I can't remember the name of it. Shoot, it's like a digital science bus.
Yeah.
Which has been really awesome. So we get them to drive into the park and the kids go in and it's all digitally set up in this school bus, but the kids seem to have a blast with that kind of stuff. But hands-on learning, we're doing book learning. We're trying to focus on maybe creating something for the kids so they don't need to pass through all of that trauma that they escaped.
Yeah.
With that being the fire, because a lot of kids are transferring over to Kihei and the other side of the island. And so 5 days a week, they need to be reminded of what they ran away from and tried to escape.
Yeah. What would your main message be to the people on the mainland that how they can help and a smart way for them to help?
You know, I mean, tourism is a huge part of our economy here.
Yeah.
And it's got to be, I mean, I own Kiawe Adventures and Fly Fishing Hawaii, right?
Okay.
I mean, I'm not fly fishing right now, right? And I post everything logistically on my fly fishing account.
Yeah.
I do lives. It's called my therapy session. Being respectful of all of Lahaina, because everybody hurts. You know,
There's some trauma here.
It's freaking hurts.
Yeah.
You know?
As long as our community can survive here, that's as long as we really need to and want to be here. We're not trying to take over any government or anything like that, but I think that the government's afraid at how fast and efficient and good we are at doing this, so that the people are starting to realize we don't need the government. We don't need
That's the problem.
yeah, right. We don't need these guys. We can do it on our own.
We're gonna go see this activist. He's a lawyer. He's been working with a lot of the people who've been involved with the whole emergency response and everything leading up to what's going on. And he has some big questions.
Tell you?
Park. Where do we park the car?
Oh, where do you park? Come on down the driveway.
Like, I took this photograph and there was no fuel around it. It was just a car sitting in the middle of a driveway that was fried, and then everything else around it was perfectly fine. So it's these type of anomalies that we just have to take a look at very carefully. Bark is in perfect shape, but then when you look at the base, it's burnt out from the inside, and the core of the tree, the center of the tree is all burnt, and we have a lot of different photographs of those also. So we're gathering this type of data right now at this point in time, so that we can then look at doing a further analysis. We're not coming to conclusions right now because it's still too early, but we're still gathering data, and it doesn't make sense. The anomalies don't make sense in terms of a conventional fire. So this is part of why we're having a community investigation. We have over 20 people right now doing research on all 43 different aspects of the fire. So there's a lot to do research on that we're still digging. But this is some of our preliminary stuff that we've been looking at here. So you can see that, and I can go through these anomalies. And again, they're very significant in terms of how this could have possibly happened. And there's a lot of similarities also to other fires that have occurred.
Isn't it a possibility that the fact is that a lot of water has been diverted away from some of the farmers into like a lot of the golf courses we heard over here, and some of the fancier people who have a few dollars, they have access to water where the poor, indigenous, and the local people don't have water? Isn't this just a case of the fact that maybe that water's been diverted for so long that Lahaina was almost like a brush fire friendly kind of environment, from what we heard from the weeds and the grass, that it just caught on like a brush fire?
Well, there are 7 different causes that are being promoted at this point in time, and I think we have
by who?
By the media, by the public,
government, and
by the government.
Yeah.
There are 7 that we're looking at right now at this point.
Do you know what they are?
Yes.
Okay.
And we can go through with that. I can show you some
Let's
slides.
do that. I got slides and.
But before we do
Yeah.
that, I think it'd be good to look at the anomalies, because then
All right, you want to look at the anomalies first?
Yeah, let's look at the, because when we look at anomalies, then we can say, okay, does this type of fire, a brush fire, as you just mentioned, does that cover these anomalies?
Okay.
So let's look at the anomalies and let's look at what cause does fit the situation.
Okay. What's anomaly number 1?
Okay. Well, I would say that the speed of which the fire was happened and the scope of the fire in a very short time. Yes, there were high winds that would really cause that spread.
Yes.
But there are questions in terms of the explosiveness of the fire itself.
When I go on a lot of trips, they're life-changing. There's always something in me changes. And the same thing happened over here in Hawaii, in Maui, in Lahaina. Something changed inside. But it's a little bit different, it's a little bit special, because even though I've been to a lot of collective countries before, and socialist countries where the people pull together to fight off a common enemy or a common situation that they need, a common enemy or a common crisis or a common goal, what's really important is that these people have, what's really stood out to me is that these people have had just an amazing ability to pull together the locals, whether they're locals or indigenous or the Hollies or whatever you call them. They all put their differences aside, come together as a community, and give their residents, their neighbors, the necessary resources they need to survive. remember, their story is not over yet. It's only just begun. I think I'm going to have to come back to Maui in a couple weeks to be able to tell their story. But more than anything, that's what I learned. Mahalo.